Ladies and gentlemen, now today we've got the official announcement for Variant 6 Contamination, which goes live on Wednesday, and I'm so excited for another variant, man. The last one was really fun, and the rewards for it were so much better than the previous ones. And I think variant rewards have always been really good, but Variant 5, man, just absolutely banged. And as far as the rewards go, they are exactly the same as Variant 5. So just doing the completion, you do get a total of 5,000 Star Shards, so you got 2,000 in the completion there, and also 1,000 for every chapter that you do. You've also got the generic 2 to 3 gems, and also via exploration of every single chapter, you have the generic 3 to 4 gems for any champion that was released before the start of 2018, so all the 15, 16, and 17 champions. And again, there are so many great characters to take up to rank 4, especially with all the buffs and overhauls that are coming, but also doing completion, you do get pretty much like another rank 5 champion and a half as well, because you get the random rank up gem, plus also a single tier 5 basic. So, like, as far as the completion rewards go, man, they're absolutely banging. They were so amazing for Variant 5, and the fact that they're exactly the same as Variant 5, at least in my opinion, is more than enough, considering I think that this one, like, arguably might be a little bit easier, but also I'm not too sure. You know, I don't feel super confident saying that. However, this one, you can bring in any champion, any synergy, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of very interesting interactions, combined with the fact that this one is themed around villains, and villains are so many of the strongest characters in game. I think there's going to be a lot of solutions to a lot of different fights. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about this variant, but again, we never know exactly what it's going to be like until it actually does release. So we're going to talk about some of the new nodes and global buffs that we have to deal with in this one. So again, hashtag villain is kind of the main thing you're looking for on characters that you want to bring in. So let's have a quick chat about the global nodes that are going to be available in every single quest and why you want the Villian Champions. So you've got Black ISO Resonance here. So corrupt ISO energy radiates from the earth, and attacking champions are immune to all damage and receive 100% bonus attack, but they will be KO'd after 20 seconds via an unavoidable degeneration. However, if you got a Villian Champion, you ignore these effects. However, some of these don't sound too bad. 100% bonus attack, so you've got double attack there, and also you're immune to all damage as well. For certain fights and scenarios, man, maybe like non-villain champions are actually going to be really helpful. Like Corvus Glaive, man, this gives them like 20 seconds of like double damage there with Suicide Masteries, boosters. Like, that might be all you need. However, if you're not using a villain champion, you're unable to gain power, so that's something to note as well. So you can't get to that special 2 on Corvus. But again, I think for certain non-villain champions, because again, Corvus isn't marked as a villain, this could be a really interesting note. But I'm curious to see like how it works and interacts with various abilities, and also stuff like the Heimdall synergy as well, because yeah, it sounds like this one might be very cheesy also maybe for characters like Spider-Ham, but I'm not too sure if it's like a gradual degeneration, or it's like you're immune to everything, and then after 20 seconds you just instantly die unless you have a villain champion. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how this one works and interacts, but it does seem very interesting there as well. And also, all non-villain attackers are unable to heal through any means as well. So yeah, you can't use, I assume, like the Thing synergy to heal up there. I think being immune to damage and not being able to heal is ruling out Thing with the synergies for this variant, but again, I may be completely incorrect. So now we got the global nodes out of the way, let's talk about the individual nodes that we're going to see throughout Variant 6. And we're also going to tab to Aunt May as well and look at all of the villains and talk about kind of brief interactions. Again, I'm probably going to miss a lot of these off, man, because there are so many villains in the game. We got 55 of them, and I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff with various synergies and all sorts of additional abilities there. So the first one we've got is Mastermind. So villain attackers increase the duration of bleed, incinerate, and shock debuffs on their opponent by 100%. So it's double debuff duration for bleed, incinerate, and shock. So Doctor Doom, this should be really good for. Apocalypse going to be really nice for as well. Carnage should be absolutely phenomenal for. Really nice for Killmonger, Venom the Duck maybe, Sentinel off the special 2, maybe Mephisto off the The special one might be pretty good there. Maybe Joke fix it. A little bit more bleed damage off him. But yeah, a lot of really cool interactions with that one, man. Buffing up some already very overpowered characters. And then next up, we got Henchmen. So when triggering a Fury buff, villain attackers will passively purify all debuffs. So you want a character that regularly triggers Fury. I think Annihilus is going to be great for this one. Maybe Crossbones as well could be very, very good. It depends if it counts as like, what is it, both passive and active Fury buffs. Carnage might be amazing for it as well. Like Ghost should work. You can get Fury off the heavy attacks there, and also dashing back, you might be able to what is it, just phase some of the debuffs. You've also got Hela, who I believe via charging heavy attacks, and I think as well off the special one, you've got access to Fury. Kingpin can get some Furies, King Groot as well. I know like Venom the Duck can gain Furies. So yeah, I think there's going to be quite a few good champions for that one, for dealing with the debuffs, depending on like, you know, what kind of debuffs they are, and like how aggressively you need to purify and remove them. And then we've also got this one called Monster, and there's actually like, what is it, 2 additional nodes. I assume they're going to be in the same chapter here. So the first one is when triggering an unstoppable or unblockable buff or passive. So it counts for passive effects as well, 100% confirmed there. Villain attackers will grant themselves a non-stacking passive regeneration, granting 10% of their maximum health over 5 seconds. So if you can trigger a what is it, unstoppable or unblockable, then yeah, that's a really nice source of constant regeneration. And also activating an unstoppable or unblockable buff or passive reverses the defender's healing for 5 seconds. So I think this is probably going to be like a gimme chapter or something like that, what I would assume, where yeah, you just need a character that can very reliably trigger healing, so you can heal on yourself, and also, what is it, reverse healing on the opponent as well. So yeah, maybe Juggernaut and Rhino, because you have the passive unstoppables via Juggernaut specials, and also Rhino like charging at the opponent. You should be able to heal up there as well, so that could be pretty damn cool. Looking at other characters, you do have Annihilus, he does have Unstoppable. Mojo does have a synergy with what is it? I think it's Gladiator, Hulk, and Korg, where he can gain a passive unstoppable as well. Killmonger on the special one, via taking blocked hits, you do have access to that. Kingpin throwing heavy attacks. Sentinel, once he's ramped up, throwing heavy attacks as well. Unstoppable Colossus. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff across the board, man. But I'm very interested to see who's going to work really well for that chapter, and exactly what other nodes are going to be in play. Now, next up, we've got this node called Genius. So while under the effects of an armor up buff, an attacking villain champion burns 10% of the defender's max power on hit or when blocked. So basically it turns any villain champion with an armor up buff into a power draining god. So this one seems really, really nice. I would imagine Dr. Octopus for any like power control scenario is going to be really, really good. This just adds like an additional like massive power burn onto his already like super overpowered power control there, which is incredibly nice. I think looking around as well, you also have like Venom can gain an armor up buff. I think Venom the Duck can also gain an armor up buff that you can bank. So can both of the Ultrons as well. You've got like Iron Patriot on top of that. Kang as well, especially with the Apocalypse synergy, might be really good here. I don't know if it counts with like a passive armor as well, because if that is the case, then maybe Killmonger's going to be alright here. But yeah, I think there's going to be a few really good options for this node. Maybe Red Skull as well, but you don't really have the damage on him. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that one does work out. And also potentially Unstoppable Colossus as well, and Vulture. So yeah, the Genius node is looking pretty damn good, but there's also the Madness node as well. So whenever you trigger an armor break debuff on the opponent, you also apply a passive power lock to the defender, which will last until the armor break ends. So you want like very frequent, very reliable armor breaks there. So Venom should be really, really good. I imagine like Terrax is going to be pretty decent for this as well. Like Airwalker and Nihilus do have access to a lot of armor breaks there. Looking around as well, I think Iron Patriot special 2, probably not the most reliable there. Ronin in certain scenarios where there are, what is it, armor up buffs that turn into armor breaks. You've got King Groot special 1 as well. You do have Magneto's armor breaks off his what is it, special 3. So yeah, might be alright for certain scenarios there. But yeah, there's probably a few characters I've missed, but I think there's going to be quite a few options for that one as well. Then we've also got the Overlord node. So whenever a defender's buffs are nullified, villain attackers gain a permanent plus 10% precision passive to a maximum of 10. So precision, as long as this isn't a mistake here, increases crit chance. So yeah, via Mystic Champions that are villains, if you just like spam and nullify, you're going to get a lot more crit. So for Doctor Doom, this is going to be crazy, man. This is going to be so good. Maybe Dormammu is going to be alright as well. I don't know if like staggering the opponent also counts as a nullify for this node, if Juggernaut could potentially be a bit useful there. Like same with Loki and stealing buffs. I imagine Mephisto and his special one is going to be quite useful there, maybe with full synergies. He could be an absolute beast mode champion. I'm not really too sure if Mojo's aura is going to count for this one. Mordo doesn't have a nullify. Maybe Morningstar could be really good. Like that special too, just nullify like loads of buffs off the opponent, gain massive crit, and then that's going to have really good synergy with lifesteal mechanic as well. Maybe Hood going to have some massive crit rating. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that one does work. And then finally, we've got this node Tyrant. So villain attackers cause 50% of their attackers bonus energy damage each time they hit into their opponent or their block, as long as the defender suffers from a weakness debuff. Now, initially, I was thinking, man, the Resonate Mastery might be super broken in this chapter, because basically it causes like any physical contact attacks your champions, they have a chance to inflict a non-stacking weakness debuff. So technically, you can give like any character a weakness debuff there. So yeah, that should be really good. But looking at the champions that do have it on their base, we've got Immortal Abomination via his blocking. Apocalypse has really easy access to a weakness as well. So to like, what is it? Green Goblin and also Joe Fix-It off of their special ones. And then aside from that, I'm not really too sure who else has easy access to weakness. I don't believe Void does. I think Ronan does if he like, uses a special attack on an opponent that has a Fury there, but that one's a little bit more niche in comparison. So yeah, I think this node's going to be a bit more niche, but if you do use the Resonate Mastery, you can take massive advantage of it. If it is like a, very difficult and problem chapter there, or you are one of the few people that just always runs Resonate, could be a really cool little interaction there. But overall, again, there are so many massive boosters for all sorts of villain champions, but I'm also curious, because again, you can bring in like any champion for synergies. This is going to be amazing for like Nick Fury, Heimdall, just like harnessing any synergy that you need to, because it's very unrestricted when it comes to team building, but that 100% bonus attack, and also being fully immune to all damage as well. I don't know, it just seems like very interesting. It's kind of like they want you to use hero champions, but I don't know, man. It just seems like really good on paper that you have 100% bonus attack and are fully immune to all damage, but you do die after 20 seconds. But I am very curious as to whether or not, like, you know, Immortal Hulk and Heimdall are going to be able to bypass this, and if there are any sort of like cheese tactics that you can use to get around this for like non-villain tag champions. So yeah, that one's a little bit of a question mark at the moment, but overall I'm really excited for Variant 6. It looks like a very interesting piece of content, and their awards, the same as Variant 5, are absolute fire. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on Variant 6 and who you believe are going to be some of the best champions in the comment section below. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.